Hi, I'm Kerry from Love That Olive, and today we have Kerry with us, who is a cheesemonger, and she's going to teach us how to build a cheese board. I always wonder about all the components going into it and how to make a great looking one, a great tasting one, of course, and what types of cheeses do we put on. So Kerry's going to walk us through everything on creating this cheese board, which is great for any occasion.
Hi, I'm Kerry and I do work as a cheesemonger, which means that I handle mostly artisan type cheeses, small format, unique flavors, and I can help you at the grocery store or wherever you catch me to select the cheeses for your cheese board. But then building the board itself seems to be something of a mystery to folks.
It is.
It's really quite simple when you just break it down into its components. First, there are about 4 or 5 different components. First component, of course, is your board, and this is where you can buy a cheese board.
We have a variety at the store at Love That Olive.
Really cute with the camembert.
Love this one. It has all the different names of the cheese. And you can even write on here if you want on different things.
That one's a slate.
We also have a wood. The wood works really, really well in different ones. And in the store we have other wood component ones also and other slate boards.
And this size is probably good for about 3 cheeses.
And then here's a couple other ones from Kerry's
Yeah.
collection.
This is a fun one if you're transporting your cheese board, easy. Just
That's
put it
a
on
really
there,
nice one because
and
these
it's-
kind of slide around. You can build it at home.
Right, yeah, or it's a little bit of a summery feel to it too, which is fun. You can use a variety of things. This is actually a granite tile from that kitchen counter.
That's easy. You could just pick one of those up
Right.
anywhere and use it. Go to Menards, grab one.
And this marble, anything like that, slate tiles, anything. Yeah, this is a pizza peel made of cherry. I like this one because of the handle that's on it, and it makes just kind of an interesting presentation. It's a nice color.
That's great. I have one of those that I use all the time for my pizzas, but never thought about a cheese board.
So, one we're going to build on today is kind of a beast, but this is a real popular thing right now. Is the very, very rustic types of wood pieces in your kitchen. You see crosscut pieces of birch everywhere.
Love that.
But this one is extremely porous. You could go ahead and seal it, with some linseed oil or any other kind of food grade surface. But I'm just going to leave it raw. It's not that great then for cheese. So what we're going to do is we're going to build on top of these little wax paper.
This gives us some color at the base, and they're very nice. A lot of different, sometimes there's leaves, fall leaves, there is spring flowers, there's all kinds of different ones that look like bark or regular foliage for this. Yes. And you don't want to cover the whole board, but just to have a little bit of something in there.
So our next component, of course, is the cheese, and selecting the cheese is usually is mind-boggling because you go into the store and that case is just absolutely enormous. Right?
It is.
Where do you start?
I never know. That's why I just look at things that look good and then I try them.
Right. Yeah. So you're trying. Consider who you're serving, how many you're serving, what type of event it is. Do you want to go with some serious high-end things that are really unique and flavorful, or do you want to go middle of the road, more crowd-pleasing? Do you want to focus on just blue cheeses? That's a decision to make up front. I usually go by something old, something new, something interesting, and something blue. So an old cheese, an aged cheese, an aged cheddar, aged Gouda is extremely popular. Make sure you bring those up to room temperature. Something new, it could be a fresh goat cheese, fresh mozzarella. Today we are doing a camembert. They're usually aged a short period of time, over 60 days. And we have an aged cheddar here. Something interesting, I have a manchego. It's very popular flavor profile, and it goes very nicely with our accompaniments. And blue, I have a point raised blue. This is out of California.
You always have really good blues. Love that. Oh, great.
All right, and so then the next component is our accompaniments. We have a variety of dried fruits and nuts.
We have dried fruits and nuts, a variety of things here.
And some fresh fruit.
Of course, because fresh fruit and cheese is
Yes,
perfect.
absolutely.
We've got some olives, stuffed olives today from Love That Olive, which is wonderful. And then we're going to add in some of our different sauces that we're going to use on it. This one is a red pepper berry jam. We're also going to use a jam, lingonberry. You can use any kind of jams, are wonderful on cheese boards. And of Of course, our house favorite is the hot red pepper red pepper jam, which we love too. So we're going to add some of that into the board to eat with our cheeses.
Yep. And of course, we have to have a baguette.
Oh, of course.
Baguette, water
Baguette,
crackers, something kind of
crackers.
plain.
Something that goes, yeah, you don't want too much flavor in those crackers when you're using all these other flavors here.
And utensils. You can get very specific utensils, some unique cheese knives. These two are much more accommodating to softer cheeses like Havartis, Bries, Camemberts. That's this one right here. The open sides allow the cheese to not stick as hard. And the pick on the top allows folks to pick up their little selection.
And this is a cheese set that we have at our store. It works really well for cheese boards because it takes care of all your types of cheeses that you need.
This one is very specific to extremely hard cheeses. So this is your Parmigiano Reggiano. It's going to act as a pick to break pieces off, which is our next, contemplation is how do you serve, how do you slice, how do you prepare. First rule that I have is don't overcrowd the board because it needs to be user friendly. If you go in for a piece of brie and you got 5 grapes stuck to it that you didn't want, it's just a mess. And they have a handful with a glass or a plate or something like that. So it's typically when you're serving, you're only serving with one hand.
One hand, that's exactly right. So you need it easy.
Need to be wise.
Accommodating.
To that. Yep. So we're gonna not overcrowd the board. And some of them I'll do what I call starting the cheese. So it's easier to pick up a little piece or to show people how to serve themselves.
Oh, great.
So for instance, I'm going to start with the brie. That's our mildest. When you're arranging your board, whatever direction you're going in, clockwise or vertically, arrange from mildest flavor to strongest flavor. And hopefully till you guess that. This one I'm going to do a little different cut on. So I'm going to make a triangle out of it. So I'm going to do this. And with brie, as with any other cheese, the center part of the wheel is going to be the tastiest part. So you want to make sure that you include rind to center on just about as much as you possibly can on just about every cheese that you serve.
And we can leave the rind on.
We can leave the rind on this one.
Is it kind of just a personal preference?
It is a personal preference. This one is also very thin, so if you were to take this rind off, you take off a lot of cheese.
Cheese with it, so it's energy, just eat it with that.
Right, yeah.
Perfect.
And I don't get a lot of ammonia or mustiness off of it, so I don't anticipate that the rind is going to be offensive. If it is, don't eat it. Nothing, you're not going to get scolded.
No.
About the only time I'll smack your hand is if you take the center of the wheel. So we'll get that.
And as you see, we're cutting up some of it, so some of it's going to be full on there that other people can cut, but this is the starter. So it's a place for people to start at.
We'll start with that cheese there. Then I'm going to move to the manchego. That one is quite mild, and I like it because it's just plain old easy to serve. It's just very easy to serve. This one also has a rind to it. It's an edible rind. Edible and eatable are two different things.
Okay.
So for me, it doesn't add to the experience. It starts getting a little bit harder out towards that edge.
So you cut it off.
I tend to, or just nibble up to it.
Okay. I like that. And it's a little bit of a harder cheese, as you can see, cutting it through.
And it's a Spanish cheese,
Okay.
which makes it really easy to pair with things because when you're in Spain, you serve with the Spanish accompaniment. So olives, Marcona almonds, Spanish wine, Rioja.
That's what's nice about Europe. All their things kind of go together for us.
Italian cheeses, you serve an Italian wine.
Yep.
And then we'll move on to one more of these. Aged cheddar. And this fella here is Beecher's Flagship. It's a nice aged cheddar out of Seattle. This one is done in a block. It's not done in a wheel form, so there's no rind to it.
Okay, that's nice.
And just from my own experience, I know that he likes to crumble. And just for a little, visual difference.
Have a little bit of the crumble started. Oh, that looks so good.
And then I'm going to just leave that pick right in there.
So that they're easy. Yep, they can